Hello, me again. Wednesday, English. Let's have a look. Now, we should be sorted with our do nows. So, verb forms. The cakes is for... Oh, I missed my word off. The cakes is for Dave. The cakes are for Dave. You didn't need the last word. Because it's plural, it should be are, not is. If it was one cake, if it was singular, it would be is. The cake is, or the cakes are. So is and are is most these verb forms because of singular and plurals. Why ain't you done? Why aren't you done? Verb form of run. So Dave run to the shop. Doesn't make sense. Dave ran to the shop. Could be Dave runs to the shop if it's present tense as well. Use the verb form of sit. For Mr. Cooper was sit on a bench. You could have sitting. You could have sat. Apostrophes. Can you write a sentence that shows a contractive apostrophe, singular possessive, and plural possessive apostrophe? Right. I didn't prep for that one. So, very quickly. Contractive apostrophe. Let's go for it. So, I could have, it can be silly. I couldn't. There you go, there's my contractive. Sit on the bench because Mr. Cooper's dog, wish I had a dog. There you go, there's my singular. I need a plural. Mr. Cooper's dogs. How am I going to get plural into this? Ooh, it's a good one. Whoa. Mr. Cooper's dogs. I'm not going to let you stare and watch me do that. But that's a good... Ooh. Right. Good luck with that. Correct. The shed's door kept falling off, but Mr. Cooper's screwdriver was missing. So, the door belongs to the shed, so singular possessive. So the shed's door, so apostrophe S, kept falling off, but Mr. Cooper's screwdriver, the screwdriver belongs to me, apostrophe S, was missing. Don't worry, my shed door isn't falling off. I was just looking out my window and saw my shed. So they're both singular possessive apostrophes. On to the commas. Mrs. Corrie made eggs, sausage, spinach and rice for dinner. So Mrs. Corrie made eggs, comma, sausage, comma, spinach and rice for dinner. Full stop as well. To escape this world, I had to think fast. So to escape this world, comma, I had to think fast. That's a frontal adverbial. And it is reason, isn't it? Why? Why do I have to think fast? Well, to escape this world. And then the last one, for commas, Dave walked over to me and said, why are you crying? You don't need an and, you don't need a comma for the and, because that's not acting as a coordinating conjunction. You know, that's not... The bit afterwards isn't an independent clause, is it? Said. You do need one after said to show that it's not the end of the sentence, but you've got a speech, you've got a spoken clause, you've got some dialogue coming. Okay. Cool. Lovely. Right. On to. I wish we were in class to do that. I bet there'd be some really weird sentences on your whiteboards. So. On to I require a fine. As you know, this week, lots of toolkits just to tick over our writing skills. And today we're going to have a little look at semicolons, which, you know, we looked at fairly recently. It was definitely this year. It was definitely after Christmas. And we started looking at them in do nows and starters, and that's all we actually needed with them. And a lot of us started using them and understanding them. But I've given you this just to help us out. So, your first task is, you've got some sentences, I think there's 5. Oh no, there's more than 5, there's 7. You've got these sentences, you're going to have to write them out and think about where your semicolon goes. Don't forget, semicolons, I've put some tips here, link 2 main clauses that closely relate. They can't be unrelated. You know, the weather was raining, I got in my car. I mean, I suppose that could loosely relate. So I got in my car. Oh, that does relate. I don't know. The tree is tall. I put my shoes on. There you go. That they don't relate. And if you can remember, semicolon, the cheat way. Turn it down so people don't hear this. But there's a cheat way, remember. It can replace and, but, and so. So if and, but, and so are used as coordinating conjunctions, linking two main clauses together, you can use a semicolon instead. Shh, secret. So, write these out. And I've done the first two just to help some of you out, if you need to. Obviously, if you don't need to, you can crack on with that. So, first one. Tom reads novels, his friends read comics. You can kind of hear where the sentence ends there. Tom reads novels. Could be a full stop there. His friends read comics. It can go together. It could be and. Tom reads novels and his friends read comics. It can't be so. Tom reads novels, so his friends read comics. That means they read comics because Tom's reading novels. It's probably more likely but. Tom reads novels, but his friends read comics. Either way, your semicolon goes there. Two independent clauses that closely relate and can be linked with and, but, or so. Our goal was to run 8 miles. We only ran 4. That's definitely going to be but, isn't it? So our goal was to run 8 miles, but we only ran 4. And all the sentences are very similar to that. Call me tomorrow, I'll give you my answer then. So that'll be call me tomorrow, semicolon goes there. English was Anna's hardest subject, semicolon. Additionally, she struggled with science. Now that one is also a conjunctive adverb, but we will look at that another time. But you can put English was Anna's hardest subject, and additionally, she was struggling with science. So the semicolon goes there. Susan loves to swim, semicolon, her brother likes to dive. My hair is very wet, semicolon, I've just washed it. Climbing a mountain shouldn't be done when it is raining. Don't know if I like that one. Just reading that one again now. Wondering whether that should be a colon instead, and we haven't looked at those yet. Because it doesn't replace and, but, or so, does it? It does say because. I'm gonna use this as a little teaching. This last one here, I didn't make these. I found these sentences. This last one here, I'm going to take the opportunity to quickly chat to you about colons. Now, Mrs. Corrin and Miss Dewsbury have a cheat way for colons. Colons are a good way of replacing because. So, climbing a mountain shouldn't be done when it is climbing, colon, the rock becomes slippy. It's because the rock becomes slippy. It's just a little cheat way there, okay? Don't worry if you don't get that too much, but just a little heads up with that. Right, on to the practice apply. Now this, I found this and thought, actually, that's really good. Rather than you just writing, actually, can you answer questions about semicolons? And that will really prove that you're understanding them. So these aren't more of writing and putting them in. It's actually, I want you to answer these questions and explain your answer. So practice apply. What are the 2 different reasons for using semicolons in your writing? You might get caught out by this one straight away. So, the first one is for what you've been doing above. To link 2 independent clauses that closely relate. To be fair, the answer is there. The second way, and I'll be impressed if you remembered, because we only did look at this a couple of times, is to list phrases. Okay, so you can use semicolons to list phrases. Eggs, egg and bacon, egg, bacon and beans, sausage, sausage and eggs, sausage, egg and beans, toast. Now the reason a semicolon is used here is because if you put commas, it will look like you've got egg on its own twice. Egg, egg and bacon, egg, bacon and beans, sausage. But actually what I'm saying is, one option is eggs, one option is egg and bacon. More importantly, one option is egg, and there's a comma there, bacon and beans. Okay, because it's a list, so it's to list things that are potentially phrases that require commas themselves. I really mean first question there, but hopefully if you're looking at the videos, don't worry if you didn't get that. If you look at the videos, you've learned something. It doesn't matter if you don't get one of the questions. What 3 main things can semicolons replace when being used? Well, it can replace well, it can replace and, but, or so. It can be as simple as that. How might people use semicolons incorrectly? Well, that one's up to you. How do you think people use semicolons incorrectly? Personally, I think they just don't put them in the right part of the sentence. I think it's not at the end of one of the clauses. So that's my opinion, but you might have more of an opinion with that one. And number 4, what's wrong with the following sentence? My hair is very wet, semicolon, ice cream is very cold. Now that sounds like the end of that sentence, so that's fine, but they don't relate. They're nothing to do with each other. Your hair's wet and ice cream's cold. They don't relate at all. So yes, it's in the right place, but it's wrong because it's not relating. Brilliant, well done with that. A little quick bit of semicolons just to keep your brain ticking over.